Chapter 21, The Private, was filled with a whole lot of stuff in Mandalorian. Let's get into it. It's Mandos versus Pirates. All right, we start off this episode with Magistrate Karga on Nevarro.
That's High Magistrate Karga to you.
A lot of stuff coming back into play from the beginning of this season. Man, there was a lot of ties that I did not think were going to get picked up on, but they were for sure. Pirate King Gorian Shard comes back. Thank you very much. Swamp Thing in the Star Wars universe, voiced by Nonso Anansi, who you might remember from Sweet Tooth or Game of Thrones. A nice character actor that is making the rounds. He is doing a great job voicing King Gorian Shard. His Corsair comes in, and the pirates rain down on Nevarro. They are taking over, and he needs a little bit of help. So our boy, Greef Karga, goes over, sends a message out to the New Republic, and we get our favorite X-Wing fighter in this New Republic era, Captain Teva, voiced by Paul Sun Hyung Lee. Not only voiced, but also acted by. Greef Karga sends out a message to the New Republic, and our favorite boy in blue, our favorite blue boy, Captain Teva, which I love Paul Sun Hyung Lee. He's great. But we get to see him again. He's got a ton of stuff he's doing in the Mando universe. And he's in a bar talking to, this might have been my favorite moment of the episode, Zeb. That has to be Zeb Aurelios from Rebels. If it's not Zeb, it looks a whole lot like him, and it is definitely voiced by Steve Bloom.
This swamped will never get an answer in time.
Who's the actor who played him in Rebels. So this is the live action, I'm calling it now, the live action debut of Zeb, and I loved it. That was a fantastic scene. All you Rebels fans, shout out. My son is named Ezra. Captain Teva then, now that he finds out that there's trouble on Nevarro, goes and sees the ladies' man. Captain Tuttle, played by Tim Meadows, and he's requesting for backup on Nevarro. But Nevarro, turns out, is not a member planet, and we found out thanks to Officer G68, aka Elia Kane, who we first saw in Chapter 19, the convert, played again by Katie O'Brien. First saw in this season, I should say. She's been in a few seasons, but she's up to no good. We already saw her hijack and hightail it and get our boy Pen Pershing. We already saw her take him out. So now we're seeing some more things going on, some espionage going on behind the scenes. But Katie O'Brien still menacing, just like she was in the last chapter that we saw her in. So we find out that our favorite boy in blue, Blue Boy, is part of the Adelphi Rangers, and he goes and seeks out the Mandalorians' help. How did he find that Mando outpost? They're supposed to be so secret. This was something that I did not expect to come up, was that old tract of land that Karga had promised Mando. Well, it comes into play here, because now that is actually a rallying point for the Mandos to come help Karga, High Magistrate Greef Karga, on Nevarro and help them against the pirates. So Mando has a nice little speech that he tucks all of the Mandos into going back to Nevarro and saving the planet. But also, we got a nice little Paz moment.
And then we saw Paz Vizsla.
From the Viz Man. He inspires everybody because of what we saw where his son was saved in the last chapter. So this is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
Man, I'm having fun with this season of Mandalorian. Like I said, all these things are coming back. But speaking of things that came back, the Kowakian monkey lizards, which obviously are my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. I can't talk about the Kowakian monkey lizards enough. Every time they get some screen time, I'm having a good time. Also the Anzellans, the Babu Fricks, running around saying new phrases. You got it. This episode has to be good. If you got those two things, you're in for a good time. So Mando flying in his M1 Star Cruiser, helping out everybody. He's too high to get over, too low to get under, as he's fighting off the pirates in the space battle. That was fun. So You got a little bit of space flight in this one, a little bit of space battle, and then you got a little bit on the ground with the Mandos coming in military style, taking everybody out. That was fun. Lots of pew pew if you're into that. I love that the armor got to fight. Anytime we see her wielding her swords or her armor, or her hammers, I should say. Anytime we see her wielding the hammers, you're in for a good time.
This is the way.
I love seeing the armor. And they are successful. The Mandos help take back Navarro. They push the pirates out. That was a great little battle scene that we saw there. But also, the Mandos, now they got a new home on Navarro. Yeah, they pushed everybody out. So now they can come back. The armor can take over her old forge again, which at the end of this episode, two massive scenes, two major scenes. So number one, Bo is brought in and talks to the armor in front of the old forge. And the armor is basically like, okay, we've been split off. We've been a sect for too long. Mandalore has to come together. All Mandalorians have to come together. Mandos must be united. And she tells Bo to take her helmet off, which I was like, is this a test? But no, it's basically to show Bo walks in both worlds. She's been in the old ways, and she's been in the new ways of the Mandalorians. But she takes her helmet off. The armor parades her out in front of the rest of the Mandos and says, Bo has walked in both worlds. She's the one who must unite us all. And I was like, yeah, bring all the tribes together. This is the way.
This is the way.
So that was a great moment for all the Mandos. I really like that. And then the other big scene was our favorite Blue Boy again coming back and discovering that the Lambda shuttle that was transporting Moff Gideon is not where we thought it would be. We thought they were taking Moff Gideon to trial, but turns out it was hijacked. And no surprise there, Moff Gideon got away. But inside that shuttle, we did a little scan and we found a piece of Beskar. Now, who could have planted this Beskar? That's going to be the story for the next chapter. But man, I can't wait. These Beskar breakdowns have been so much fun. I'm glad you guys are joining me each week to talk about The Mandalorian and to talk about Star Wars here in the Vactorverse. I'm having a great time. This episode was directed by Peter Ramsey, director of Into the Spider-Verse, one of my favorite movies of all time. And if you've seen any of the Vactorverse art, you know how much of a fan I am. So, great episode. Gotta love it. Mandalorian still hitting on all cylinders. This was another great episode in Season 3. I hope you'll continue to join me here on Beskar Breakdowns each and every week. This is the way.
This is the way.